Matt Jon Snow Thomas here with Daniel Cormier. We're in Abu Dhabi. 2 title fights on the line this week.
Yes.
A big heavyweight fight. I mean, let's get into it. Just how important is it to we have the fight with Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, closing the chapter of John Jones, titles on the line.
This is the biggest fight in the heavyweight division, and honestly, it is the fight. It's the right fight for the heavyweight title when you're trying to move past John Jones. Look, Tom Aspinall has proven to be one of the most exciting heavyweights that we have seen in a real long time. But in Ciryl Gane, you have a guy that has more experience, more 5-round experience, and more title fight experience than Tom Aspinall. So I think it makes for a very interesting fight, especially seeing the skill sets of the two fighters.
Yeah, when you look at Tom's resume compared to Cyryl's, like you mentioned, he went 25 minutes with Francis.
Yep.
Had the fight with John. People are kind of overlooking Ciryl
Bad.
a little bit. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think we fall in love with what we have seen recently, and I think what's going to haunt Ciryl for a long time is the visual of him versus Jones. In his biggest moment, it went like it did. So people just think about that, and all they've seen Tom do is knock him down. But I always ask, right, especially as we get to these big fights, you ask the question that most people don't watch, like on the surface, right? We all look at surfacey things. But when you really dig into the numbers, Ciryl Gane is an athlete. Tom Aspinall is an athlete. That's why people struggle with him. Cyryl's like the only guy that can actually move with them in the heavyweight division. Ciryl Gane has fought 25 minutes against Francis Ngannou. Went 23 minutes with Derek Lewis. Ciryl Gane has been in front of power strikers. In most cases, people would believe bigger power threats than Tom Aspinall. All these things should sway people towards Ciryl Gane. Mm-hmm. But instead, they're ignoring that because in that biggest moment, they saw what happened against John Jones.
When you think about when the fight could get to the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, I mean, even in the 2nd round with Tom Aspinall, how do you think that kind of affects him mentally, knowing that he's barely been there in his career?
Well, we're going to see, right? I think that this will be the longest fight of his career. And if it isn't, then the rocket ship is really going to be strapped to his back, right? So many people are ready for a world champion that they can get behind, a heavyweight that dominates. That's what he's done so far. I never expected him to do to Curtis Blaydes what he did to Curtis Blaydes. But if this is not the longest fight of his career, you might have a bona fide superstar on your hands. But if it is, you'll learn a lot about Tom Aspinall because I truly believe that right now is the time to fight him. Before he has all of those experiences. When people say stuff like, well, when John Jones wouldn't fight Tom, everybody's like, well, would you have fought Tom? I was like, yes, right now. Because I don't want to fight him past the moment he's been 25 minutes. We have seen guys like this before. Francis comes to mind. Francis had beaten everybody. First time he fought 25 minutes, he looked like he was going to die against Stipe Miocic. And then once he experienced it, he came back and knocked Stipe out. And then he did it again against Ciryl. But it's a matter of getting these young guys with all this power early before they understand how to keep some in the reserves as you get to those later championship rounds.
And Ciryl is someone that has fought for this belt before. Mentally, does that affect you at all, knowing that you've lost to Francis, you've lost to John? Now this is really like, is it a do-or-die moment for Ciryl to get the belt now?
You would think so, but I spoke to Ciryl this weekend, and he told me he feels like there's plenty of time. He said for the last 4 years, he's ranked in the top 3 in the world. And as we know, there's a lot of turnover at heavyweight. That's why he's getting so many opportunities. Yeah. So Ciryl Gane, right, fought for the interim title against Derek Lewis. Won, right? Ciryl Gane fought Francis Ngannou, lost for the Undisputed Championship. Lost to John Jones for the Undisputed Championship. Is fighting for the Undisputed Championship. Why? Because every time there's a new champion. There's so much turnover that if he just continues to do his job, win or lose this weekend, there are more opportunities. It's not the end of the story for either of these guys.
And both men are really bringing in specific people to help them. Tom was bringing in a kickboxer. Ciryl really focusing on the wrestling. When you think about who has the clearer path to victory, what comes to mind?
I think Tom Aspinall with the knockout power. You know, obviously we have not seen Ciryl Gane get hit and put down, but when you watch this Aspinall, you just can tell he's special. He's a special fighter. He's big. He's strong. He's physical. He's in tremendous shape now. Tom Aspinall, when he knocked out Sergey Pavlovich had knocked out 10 people in a row, and it was like nobody could take a punch from him. Tom just destroys him in the biggest fight of his career in one round in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Right? This kid, he's special. Tom Aspinall is a special fighter, and When you watch him, you know that you're looking at something special. But I think that he has the toughest fight of his career on Saturday night.
I think I saw something the other day that Tom Aspinall said that Sergey Pavlovich hit him the hardest, which is funny because I think Sergey only threw one punch.
Because Sergey couldn't keep nothing going.
So it will be interesting, given Cyril's striking power, too, to see like how that maybe compares after the fact.
But Cyril's more of a touch, pop you, beat on you, and then later he starts to really try to put the damage on you. I think he's going to have to take more chances this weekend because he'll have to get Aspinall to respect him. If Aspinall doesn't respect you, he will walk right through you. He's so fast, man. He's an athlete. I like watching Tom Aspinall fight. I tell you that much.
It'll be a fun one. But before we get to that, co-main event,
yes,
vacant strawweight title between Virna and Mackenzie Dern. A rematch.
Yeah.
You've had rematches in your career. This one spans 5 years, though. Is there really anything you can take from the first match, or is it kind of a new slate?
So I had rematches, a lot of them actually, but they were all relatively quick. Mm-hmm. I think the Virna Jandiroba that we saw back in the day is not the same person. Sure, she has the same skill set, but she's so much more developed in her career that I don't know that you can look to that much. And Mackenzie Dern has changed too. Mackenzie now is more sure of her striking, and she's actually a better striker today than she was when they fought the first time. So I think we're looking at two different athletes. It's a matter of who can impose themselves on the opponent, like who can implement the grappling offensively is what's going to be the difference between these two. Because we've seen now, if Virna gets you down, she can dominate you on the mat. We've also seen Mackenzie do the same thing.
Really a new era in both divisions. You'll get the heavyweight division. Whoever comes out will be the new division champion, obviously, and then strawweight, a new champion as well. So
especially when you never thought we'd ever get a new champion because Zhang Weili was just so damn good.
And we have that to look forward to in New York.
Yeah, that's coming
so that's
up.
going to be crazy.
That's going to be a good one.
But first, two title fights on the line here in Abu Dhabi, guys. Don't miss it. UFC 321 this Saturday.